Hey everyone, we are going to react to the finale of season 1 of The Chosen.
That's right, I'm Sam, this is Dr. Tom. Welcome to Grafted.
Where's your temple for this god?
He has no temple.
So where do you worship him?
Build altars wherever we go.
And you do not carry him with you?
No, there are no carved idols of him.
So he's invisible?
Yes. Well, usually. There was one time he broke my hip.
No, I've heard enough. Of all the gods you could possibly choose from, you pick an invisible god whose promises take generations to come true, who makes you sojourn in strange places, and he broke your hip. That is a strange choice.
That's a good point. You know, it's a good point.
I like this dialogue, it's fun.
It reminds me of like when God calls Abraham to leave the Ur of the Chaldeans, or however you say that. That was a big deal because the gods aren't going to protect you and cover you. You're leaving the protection of the territorial powers.
Right.
And so he's, in the Near Eastern perspective here that they're trying to present, he's like, you're crazy.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? What kind of God is that? You know?
So would you say that the gods of ages past were territorial gods?
Definitely territorial. That's how everybody understood gods.
I feel like that's a not very well understood in our day.
Right.
That territory doesn't come with spirituality, or
Right.
that gods or demonic entities or whatever you want to label it doesn't go with land.
Right.
So that's something that was understood then,
Yeah.
kind of hidden in darkness, shrouded a little bit nowadays.
Yeah, now we don't even believe that the supernatural is necessarily real in the West, at least.
Right.
That's not necessarily the case in the rest of the world.
Definitely not.
Who still have this experiential reality,
Right.
or at least acknowledging their experience of what's happening. And what goes along with it, so how does God identify himself in Scripture? As the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob
Yeah.
over a specific land.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning, so part of this going away from realizing this territorial reality, that people have forgotten that our God is also a territorial God over Israel. And this connection to not only land, but people and land.
She is from the Red Quarter. Much of what is done there cannot even be spoken by my tongue or across my lips. It is so unholy. The mere mention of it would defile me.
Sounds like a personal problem.
But him and the others he works with, they betray our people for money, and they're not even sorry.
If you're so offended, then leave. Let them speak, Andrew.
They've never offered guilt sacrifices in the temple.
What?
The priest keeps records.
We checked them. Tax collectors are not welcome at the temple. Would like them better if they made the proper sacrifices.
This is not about me. This is about what God wants.
You're forgetting the scroll of Hosea. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, more than sacrifice.
He says mercy, but in Hosea it's the word chesed.
Is it?
And
I don't know.
so this like covenantal love and loyalty and faithfulness, like chesed's like one of my favorite words in the whole Bible. And it's difficult to translate.
Right.
But covenantal love too, and I don't know, just so much. And he's saying that's what he's really wanting more than sacrifices, and essentially that's what he's doing here by gathering all these people loyal to him, right? His followers, disciples.
Yeah, and it's not an offer, like if you know Yeshua's teaching, it's not an offer to come to the table, hang out, you tax collector, you sinner, you know, and stay the same.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's like there's this struggle going on, and maybe even some of the Pharisees, let's say this guy, was like from a pure heart, like these things don't go together. Like, you know, righteousness and hanging out with sinners is like, oh, you know, he's freaking his beak, you know, but he's like, I'm inviting those who are sick. They need help. They need to change. They need saving. So I don't know. Like there's a dynamic going on, and Yeshua's, he ruffles feathers, but he also doesn't compromise.
It's good, and he healed them.
Right.
Like you said, he doctored them up.
He definitely did.
Like he's the great physician, and they've been healed and delivered.
Right.
And so, like you're saying, if they're still just wallowing in their sin, and they would have an argument, actually.
Right.
In some sense.
Right.
Like, you don't just hang out and...
Right.
You're there to, like, share the love of God and the forgiveness of sin.
Right.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing.
And when he heals someone, you know, sometimes what the record will state is that he says, "Go and sin no more."
Yeah, that's true.
Don't sin anymore. That's the offer that's on the table. Be healed, be free.
Yeah.
Don't do it anymore. You know. And then he turns and he has his own critiques of these religious leaders as well. And so he's bringing restoration on all sorts of levels.
Persian myrrh and camphor to commemorate our last day in Capernaum.
One last day.
Nicodemus, I love our life.
As do I.
Take me back to it.
It's a good portrayal. You know, I mean, that conversation that they had on the rooftop was just excellent, beautiful. And now he has this choice to make, you know, back to the old ways.
Right.
Comfort.
It's good.
Or follow him.
It is interesting, a lot of people, when they have encounters with God, supernatural encounters even, you would think they would like immediately, yes, I'm following you. But experientially, I know a lot of people where it was still a wrestle. It was like they had this amazing encounter, but it was still it took some time for them to settle in their minds and in their life and maybe with their wife.
Right.
Just the whole, what is this, the cost, like you're saying, counting the cost. Right. And so
it's interesting too, because there's a hang up in human mindset. The hang up is what I have is good, or what I have I think is good, right? And it's like, I like this thing that we have. And so then there's this call to follow.
Yeah.
And the temptation is to believe that what I have here that's known might not be that might not be as good as what I already have.
Right.
And so the temptation is, okay, well, staying here will actually be better. When in reality, God actually knows what is best for us. And so even if it looks different or unknown, following him is always the right choice.
Right.
Always for the best. So, but there's a hang up. There's like a human mental hang up.
Sure. Yeah, it takes faith.
Yep.
Right. I mean, you've got to trust that you don't even know where you're going.
Exactly.
And he's like, follow me.
Follow me.
And you're just, but where are we going?
Right.
And he's saying, he doesn't tell you exactly where you're going, or actually the scene we just saw with the disciples all eating at Matthew's house. Right. He didn't tell Peter and Andrew and the other folks that they were going to be eating at a tax collector's house. Yeah. Right? It was like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for that. This is
weird.
This is a betrayer of our people. You know, why would we do this? So this is
but then you look at that one situation, eating in a tax collector's house, right? Sounds like it's not the right decision. But then if we look at it from our perspective, we got the Gospel of Matthew out of the deal. You know what I mean? It's like, Matthew wrote the Gospel of Matthew. That was a really good decision, Lord.
Good decision, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
To call Matthew and to have him, be one of these gospel. That gospel account is incredible.
Well, that's good.
You know what I mean?
So you're saying that Yeshua wasn't worried about what people were going to think with the decisions he made, huh?
I'm the only one among us who is married.
So you think I should have only called single people?
Of course not. And I'm glad you didn't, but Eden will be alone with her Ima.
You're scared that things could get worse and you wouldn't be there.
See? That's what I mean. You already know anyway.
Simon, everyone here knows what you're thinking most of the time. It does not take God's wisdom.
Do you think Yeshua would say things like that?
Like everybody knows what you're thinking before you say it. I don't know.
You know, it's a little bit of a...
It's a little bit of a jab.
It's a little bit of a jab.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess.
Or is it a correction? Or...
Could be.
You know?
It could be a gentle correction, you know, like, hey, maybe... I had that line spoken to me one time.
Oh, really?
It's like, no, I'm happy. And then someone said, tell your face.
Wow.
It was nice. Mm-hmm. It was good.
It was healthy shame.
You know who you are.
Is your mom always watching?
Wasn't my ma.
I've found a matter of law I'm deeply passionate about. One that resonates with many others, even as far away as Jerusalem.
I'm delighted to hear your fervor, Shmuel. Tell me, what is it you've become so passionate about?
False prophecy. When I heard the man from Nazareth tell the paralytic his sins were forgiven, I thought only God can forgive sins. At that very moment, he turned to me and recited my thoughts as if reading them from a scroll. I felt the same. Did he use divination, I wondered. But it's obvious. Of course I would think this thought. He called himself the Son of Man, as if from the prophet Daniel, here, in the town of my order.
He came from Nazareth, not heaven.
To him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him.
He's simply a man. I don't understand it anymore.
His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. The man claimed to be God, and you said nothing. I will petition Jerusalem, requesting permission to search the archives for all matters pertaining to such false prophecy. Will you oppose my petition, Rabbi? The question on the mind of every man who reads my account will have to be, what did Nicodemus do?
We are excited to be announcing the launch of Grafted U.
What's Grafted U, Tom?
It's an online, spirit-empowered, Jewish-rooted school that's going to help you learn a biblical Messianic worldview.
Yeah, so click on the link in the description below to be the first to know about these classes.
It was really interesting how they flipped it a little bit there, because as you notice, Nicodemus was then arguing he was just a man, although in the conversation with Yeshua in John 3, he was kissed the Son, right? I mean, he was connecting in all these passages about the fact that he was God. And so then he goes back home with his wife. He's now second guessing this reality.
And not even like pushing it to the side, like, no.
But then now Shmuel is actually arguing for the exact thing, right? Based on the scripture that he's like, but he was saying he was God.
Right.
That's exactly, he was just laying out the argument.
Right.
It's fun how they did it on the negative. He's like, there's no way, but what he was saying wasn't, and they gave the whole argument, you know?
Yeah.
I liked how they did that.
That's fun.
But
yeah, it makes it tense too.
It does make it tense.
Because that claim, that Son of Man claim, is huge, right? Some people will read it and be like, okay, Son of Man, okay, whatever, you know. It's like, but that's like what Shmuel's feeling and saying here. It's like he's claiming to be God.
He's claiming to be God.
Right.
It's funny because like in the natural you read Son of Man,
right,
and so you don't think Son of God.
No.
So, but it's actually the Son of Man is referring to the divine aspect of Son of God, and scholars they recognize this reality. So, meaning if you put it in a Jewish context, then this is what he was claiming, and so they're doing a great job of bringing that out, real clearly,
really clearly. Yeah, I love it.
Isn't it? It's not to serve God.
On the contrary, teacher, it's about the law, and the law is God. If I'm rewarded for that, it's because I learned from the very wisest.
So, Sam, is the law God?
No.
But isn't Yeshua the living Torah?
Yes.
Explain.
Oh man, I don't know that I can go there, man. It's like it feels above my pay grade right now.
The big question within the Messianic Jewish community and the church, Gentile Christian church, is how do we understand the law, the Mosaic covenant, in light of the new covenant? So I think this is a much longer discussion, but I think this really is getting at the core of the question and how we understand this applied in the new covenant order.
Interesting.
In fact, Paul says it this way in Romans 10. He says that the goal of the law is to lead us to Messiah.
Right.
So the whole point of the law
to get us to him
is to lead us to Messiah. The end goal.
Yep.
And that's sometimes people use that passage to say, therefore the law is the end of the law.
Right.
But that's not what he's meaning. He's saying, but the whole point of the law is to bring us to Messiah himself.
For sure.
But that doesn't mean, because Paul goes on to say over and over, so therefore is the law done away with? Does the law not matter? Should sin abound so the grace can increase? May it not be so. May it never be.
May it never be.
Eden.
Jesus. I wasn't expecting you here.
People usually aren't.
Can I get you something warm to drink?
What was that?
I was just stoking the fire.
You saw it first, you know.
What do you mean?
What I see in Simon. You were the first person to notice when no one else did. That connects us.
My mother said I was drawn to his wildness and that I would regret it. I wonder what she will say now.
We're going into town to sell these nets. We'll be right back.
Stay here a moment, Simon.
I just want to leave some extra money behind for Eden and Nima while I'm away.
Put your nets down and go sit with your mother-in-law.
Okay.
Andrew's like, I'll do it.
Quick to obey, Simon.
Yeah.
Quick to obey.
It's all right. I told Simon to make sacrifices and leave things behind in order to follow me. You are one flesh with Simon. He cannot make sacrifices that are not also yours. You have a role to play in all of this.
Do I?
You will know in time. I can't make everything about this easier for you.
That wouldn't be our people's way.
No, it has not been. Nor will it continue to be. But I see you. You understand? I know it is not easy to be at home when your husband is out doing all of this. Even when you are excited about it and proud of him. So, I wouldn't ask you to do this without taking care of a few things.
You mean?
Plus, normal Simon is difficult enough. You think I want to travel with a worried Simon?
Did he just say that?
He did. That's not in the biblical record. But still kind of funny.
I love that scene though. Like, I feel like we need to cut this scene out and like send it to our wives.
Oh, right.
You know?
Right.
But also just that, like, I love that line where he's like, I see you.
I see you. Yeah.
Like, I felt that, and he's talking to, this is an actor talking to a woman. And I'm like, he sees me. Well, no, he's talking to her. Why am I feeling that? Like, isn't that like, we so like when some, it's like why, one of the reasons why prophecy is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's so encouraging.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
because you feel seen.
You feel seen.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Or when somebody reaches out and sends you a word of encouragement, even just a text.
Super simple. But
Pause the video right now. Text somebody to encourage
Reach
them.
out and touch somebody.
But really, it's
But for
like,
real.
like.
I'm sorry. You ruined your moment.
I'm crying over here. Like, gosh.
I fully agree. But I see that, like, I feel like The Chosen does this. They'll have, like, little themes woven, too, because they were referencing Adonai El Roy earlier. The Lord, the God who sees.
Oh, nice. Kid.
Right?
I didn't remember that.
Which is what he's known as by Hagar, right?
Wow.
And so, like, she's in this wilderness, deserty, like, forsaken, has this son, like, really nasty situation, sent away, and he's like, I see you.
I feel respect. Her forehead burns my hand to the touch.
We should get a doctor. There is no need.
Nice. I like that one.
There is no need.
I'm here.
The great physician is here.
Exactly. That'd be the best. Like, what's he gonna do?
Right?
Is he gonna spit in the dirt and like rub in her eyes, or? See, he did something interesting here. You may not have noticed it, but he looked up and closed his eyes, and they did a little combination of Jewish and Christian tradition.
Okay, I didn't notice.
Like where Jews have their eyes open and look up when they pray, and Christians close their eyes and look down when they pray.
He was doing both.
And so it was like a very Jewish Christian combo.
He's trying to bring unity to the family.
That was good.
You know?
Oh, I like that.
Who are you?
This is Jesus of Nazareth.
You've never met him before.
Welcome to my son-in-law's home.
Thank you.
What am I doing lying here?
You had a terrible fever.
And all of you staring down.
Dasha, don't.
No one move. I'll be right back with some drinks.
Now that is a Jewish mama.
Right. He's like, I didn't figure out, I didn't govern what was going to happen next.
Nobody's drinking or eating anything.
But that's what the account says, right? Immediately she got up and served them, you know.
Goat cheese. Does
She's-
your friend like goat cheese?
Yes, I love goat cheese.
Me too.
I should.
Go get some Euro meat with some goat cheese. Come on. I'm hungry.
Thank you
Me?
Yeah.
For what?
for obeying and following him.
That's where it's at right there.
Let him hear.
I like that in the paradox between the husband and wife with Peter and his wife, Simon and his wife, and then Nicodemus and his wife, right? So following Yeshua
good.
actually was the best choice for Simon. Whereas he was worried about his wife and mother-in-law back home, Yeshua's like, I'm gonna go heal your mom-in-law.
Right.
Gonna be cool. And you know, things are gonna be all right. And then it's like, you know, it has these two different accounts where like Peter's counting the cost. He's leaving his wife and his mother-in-law. I gotta go do this thing. I gotta follow him, and she's picking up on it.
Wow.
In the story here,
Wow.
being like, "Thank you."
Wow.
For what? For following and obeying.
Wow. I didn't see that one either. That was good.
This is good. This is good rights. I mean, that part's accurate. You know, like.
But even the power of the wife's role
right
there, and how she can prevent and help this. Wow.
Yeah, for sure. And he's like, I was just following the Lord, man.
Well, and Yeshua even said, "You two are one flesh."
Yeah.
So like he was saying, like, you guys are in this together. And so she's like, I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And then the thing I like about, I was thinking about the passage where he says, I only do what I see my Father doing, right? And so we know that this is an accurate account. Like, he went and he healed Peter's mother-in-law, right? And so it was in the Father's heart, it was in the Lord's heart to heal her. I don't know, it's just like to like preserve family, to, you know, to help Simon not freak out,
right.
you know, like he cared
right.
to go and heal her. And that wasn't like, I'm just gonna throw you a bone, like, I'll help you figure this out. It was
right.
like, no, that was in the Father's heart to do.
This is the sad part.
This is the worst. First time I saw this scene, I was like a wreck.
Should be everyone. Everyone's here?
Yes, this is all of us.
Is there anyone else? Look at this. What is that? I don't know. Let's find out. Gold.
A friend of mine left that for us.
It's enough for 2 weeks of food and lodging.
You came so close.
What do you mean?
We need to go for it to make it to a camp in Tiberias by nightfall.
Simon is correct. Let's go.
You're gonna wear that? On a trip. These are my clothes. Should I have others?
The great news is that I've read the rest of the book.
Yeah.
And Nicodemus ends up giving tons of spices for Yeshua's
He does.
burial.
Like 75 pounds
Yeah,
worth
it's
or
something crazy.
Yeah.
So he comes back around,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I think that's also probably one of the amazing things, like God in search of man, where he's like hotly pursuing us, right? And he's in that sense relentless, so he keeps coming after us. And
you can like feel Yeshua's heart there, like, oh, he came so close, you know?
Yeah, everybody else is like, wow, great, tons of gold, and he's like,
we're ready to go, this is everybody.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, it's not everybody, you know?
Would you give me a drink? Did you hear me?
That's bad, huh?
What?
Would you? Ask for a drink from me, a Samaritan? And a woman?
I'm sorry. I should have said please.
You know, it's not safe for you to be alone out here.
Nor you. Why haven't you come with others? Why so late in the day? Don't women come to the wells in the cool of the morning?
Yeah, well, none of them will be seen with me, so I have to come out too. In the heat, as you have so kindly reminded me.
Why won't they be seen with you?
Long story.
I'd still like a drink of water if you can spare it.
Amazing what a parched throat will do. Aren't I unclean to you? Won't you be defiled by this vessel?
Maybe some of my people say that about your women, but I don't.
Yeah? And what do you say?
I say if you knew who I am, you'd be asking me for a drink.
Really?
And I would give you living water.
Would. Except that you have nothing to draw water with, and this is a deep well. Besides, What do you need from me if you have your own supply of living water?
Long story.
The Jewish water is better than Samaritan water.
That's not what I
Are
said.
you a better man than our ancestor Jacob, who dug this well? Your water is better than his?
I know Jacob. And everyone who drinks this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks the water that I give him will never be thirsty again.
Wouldn't that be nice?
The water I give will become in a person a spring of water welling up to eternal life.
Really?
Yes, really.
Prove it.
Perfect.
First, go and call your husband and come back. I will show you both.
I don't have a husband.
You are right. You've had 5 husbands. And the man you're living with now is not your husband.
Oh, I see. You're a prophet. You're here to preach at me.
No.
Usually the one good thing about coming here alone is I can escape being condemned.
I'm not here to condemn you.
I've made mistakes. Too many. But it's men like you who have made it impossible for me to do anything about it.
How?
Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain. But you Jews insist Jerusalem is the only place for true worship.
They say that because the temple is there.
Exactly where we're not allowed.
I'm here to break those barriers. And the time is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father.
So, where am I supposed to go when I need God? I've never received anything from God, but I couldn't thank him even if I did.
Anywhere. God is spirit. And the time is coming and is now here that it won't matter where you worship, but only that you do it in spirit and truth. Heart and mind, that is the kind of worshiper he's looking for. It won't matter where you're from or what you've done.
They did leave out my favorite part of the story.
They do, yeah.
And so I'm biased because I did spend
a lot of time in that.
Some time studying John 4, and in particular John 4:22, which says, in this story right here where they're talking and Yeshua says that salvation comes from the Jews. So why didn't Yeshua say salvation comes from me?
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when we think of Yeshua, even his name means
salvation.
Salvation.
Yeah.
He is the Lamb. I mean, he is the one who's going to deliver Israel and the nations in that sense.
Right.
So why doesn't he say that?
I mean, my off the top of my head answer is that he's pointing and alluding to the covenantal faithfulness of God. He's saying, I chose a people, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. This is the people that I've made a covenant with. This is the process through which I am bringing salvation to the world. It's through the Jewish people, and I'm here.
Right.
This is I'm a Jew. This is me. This is I'm bringing salvation.
Right.
Salvation is from the Jews
because
it comes through this bloodline.
Right. Yeah.
That's God's covenantal purpose.
Right. Well, interestingly, she's claiming Jacob as her father, right?
She is, yeah.
So, but then by him affirming the reality of Jerusalem, or I'll say of the Jewish people, which he's actually saying, because we don't learn, in the Torah it says, and put. I will dwell in the place that I will show you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, where is that place? Where is that place? Where is that place? And the Samaritans say it's on Mount Gerizim.
Right. So
it's on the Mount of Blessing.
He's kind of putting the stake in the ground.
He's saying, no, you're wrong.
Right.
He really is.
He's clarifying
He's saying, no, it's not Mount Gerizim.
Right.
They're right.
Yeah.
Meaning the prophets are right.
Yeah.
The writings are right. The rest of this revelation of Scripture, actually, you could argue even weighing in on the canon in some sense.
Right.
Or at least in the prophets and the writings, and saying they're correct. David's correct on picking Jerusalem as the capital.
Yep.
But then he's saying, but it's not even necessarily that that's all about some physical location necessarily, right?
Right.
Then he's pointing to, hey, it's spirit and truth. You know, I want a relationship with you. It's about connecting in, though, but you got to get the explicit truth.
Yep.
Explicit knowledge of God.
Yep.
The written text, correct?
Yep.
So that you don't get off.
Totally.
And this relational implicit knowledge of God.
Experience it.
Also.
I'm going to tell everyone.
I was counting on it.
I was counting on it.
Spirit and truth.
Spirit and truth.
It won't be all about mountains or temples.
Soon, just the heart.
You promise.
I promise.
This man told me everything I've done. Oh, he must be the Christ!
Hey, wait! Your water! You forgot your
Come see a man who told me everything I ever did!
Rabbi, we got food. What would you like?
I have food to eat that you do not know about. Who got you food?
Wait a minute. You told her? And she get tell others? What food?
I forgot about Andrew's response. Who got you food? With his mouth full. Who got you food? Hey, I'm Sam. This is Dr. Tom. Let's get started.
Way too silly, I think.
Oh my gosh, Sam, you need to tone it down.
You're kind of weird.
Oh, well.
It's true.
That's a good pause on Peter. He's like, got his muscles like.
Is that a threat? Because I got these bad boys.